Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another glorious episode of the Swamp Creatures. We finally got him on the show. It only took us God knows how many thumbnails of you getting thrown out of a helicopter.
Couple years. It's been a couple years.
It's been a while, but we finally did it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And
it's good.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, no, it's good. We're gonna have a fun show here, and also we got Tim back here. The return of Tim Crosby here tonight.
I can't get my shit to turn. Is this
Who's
one
also
sound
holding us to tradition?
Flask time.
Sound better?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, we got the Tim. Josh, I don't know if you know, we kind of had a tradition on the show of a 3-drink minimum.
Right. Yeah.
And
I can't be a part. I can't be a part of that since I don't drink. I don't really
Tim
drink.
was not very happy with it.
Oh, I gotcha. I don't really drink, so I can't.
That's fair. The guest is not bound.
Okay. All right. Cool.
That's cool.
Good.
The guest
Good to
is
hear.
not mandatory.
My man got some coffee.
All right.
But it has Kona
Everyone's
liqueur in
approaching
it. It's got Kona liqueur in it, so I am abiding by the 2-drink minimum. I know
Nice.
Tim showed up here, and he's usually the enforcer on the rules. So
He's probably already like
Yep.
6 drinks deep, anyway.
yeah,
So.
can't
Don't
skip
worry.
out on the drinks.
Don't
when
worry about
Tim's
what
here.
I'm doing, okay? Don't worry about you, okay?
All right. But Josh, for those who might not be familiar with you, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and what you got going on?
Sure. Yeah. I'm. My name is Joshua Smith. I'm the host of a show called Break the Cycle with Joshua Smith and my 2 wonderful co-hosts AJ and Ryan Kurt. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's a pretty great show. It doesn't really touch the greatness of Swamp Creatures. You know, I love you guys, but
Sure.
it's up there. I was at-large representative for 2 terms on the LNC, and then a vice chair for about 6 months before I resigned, famously recently. And I am currently a candidate for president of the United States for the Libertarian Party. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Anti-war activist, came from the Ron Paul Revolution in 2008, worked on his campaign, and have had several liberty-based publications since then that have been semi-successful. So that's kind of what I've dedicated my life to, and raising 75 kids. So
I was gonna say, if you win, you might be the first president to not be able to, or to be able to fill the entire White House with just your children.
yes, absolutely. There's 16 bedrooms in the White House, and so
There you go.
we'll fill up half of them. and
And then you're gonna make some more. You're like,
yeah, over
we know
4
you're gonna make some more in
years.
4 years, dude.
Yeah, 4 years. You never know what could happen. We do got one
That's the
coming. We
truth.
got
That's
one
the
coming in
truth right there.
December.
Josh
so.
isn't running because he wants to change the country or anything. He's looking for
Just
a new
needs a-
place to live, and
Yeah,
they don't
just
make
needs a
houses
bigger
big
house.
enough.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't. We have a 4-bedroom with a basement room now. And it's still not enough for all the kids. Of course, a couple kids share rooms, so it's not a big deal. But they're young enough. But I'm like worried when they all become teenagers, they're not going to want to share rooms anymore. You know.
Hey,
so.
you can go get a job. That's what you
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh man. I was waiting on that line. Like, honestly, I was like, I gotta make a joke about how many rooms the White House has, and you're all over it. You already know.
16 of them, man.
Yeah, you got the talking points down.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm like the the meme of the black guy in the yellow suit behind the tree, like rubbing his hands together. That's me looking at the White House for sure. Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Well,
All
anyway,
right, well, I'm
yeah,
gonna start this off because I told you guys I was gonna hijack the show and roast you because fuck you guys. Okay, I looked back and I wanted to see if we started putting Josh in the thumbnail on episode 16. Do you know what episode this is? It's 70 fucking 1. That means 50 fucking episodes we've been trying to get Josh on. And these 2 motherfuckers up here organized the whole thing and don't tell anybody about it. I found out about this shit 4 hours ago.
Oh shit! No, really?
Here I am in fucking Georgia in a goddamn hotel room, and I have to go run down to the fucking gas station and get some beer so I can come hang out with Josh.
Mitch asked me quite some time. It's been quite a while.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Couple
I've heard.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bunch of bitches.
What are you doing in Georgia?
I'm here for work.
I blame Discord.
Working.
Nothing good.
Nice. Are you guys? Any of you guys going to be in Jacksonville when I'm there next month?
I'm actually hosting the show.
Sick.
So I'll be hosting that. That's why I was trying out the White House kids in the rooms joke. So
Yeah, that's a good
that'll
one.
be-
Definitely play that one.
Don't
Yeah, we're
say
gonna
it like
put
that though. Don't say that there's kids in the rooms at the White House. That's a little too much.
Well, there are.
Well, I mean, technically, it might not be wrong.
You might not be wrong.
No, we know for a fact. That's what I know. Oh man, yeah, no, I'm excited
No,
for
it's
that.
just Comet Ping Pong.
I'm excited for that. There's going to be a presidential forum. The Duval County affiliate here in Florida is hosting that, and it's going to be you, I believe, Chase, and then we got two. I think
Mike.
Lars, maybe. Who'd you say?
Lars and Mike Termont for sure.
Yeah, and Termont. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. I mean,
I just found out that Lars Mapstead made all of his money off of campsites.
which
didn't know
brings
that.
us to our first point. I know Mitch.
Adult Friend Finder.
Take it away, Mitch. There you go, buddy. That's a crazy.
I mean,
thing.
I'm just gonna dive right into that. Sorry, Tim. I don't want to hijack your hijack, but
No,
yeah,
you're good.
no. It makes me laugh my ass off that it took people so long to realize that he made his money off of adultfriendfinder.com.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Like,
He's the
I guess it
Andrew
makes sense
Tate
for
of the Libertarian
Party.
Party. Yeah, he's the
So
Andrew Tate.
So he
of the
probably
Libertarian
has some
Party.
of my dick pics then. That's no good.
I bet he does. I bet he does.
Maybe he'll bring us to
He's
the
got
debate.
blackmail on
Yeah.
everyone.
Not me. Not me. I'm not
Maybe
a
we'll
porn.
bring
I'm
him
not
to
a
the
porn
forum.
guy, man. Not
Yeah.
me.
Not a porn
I'm
guy?
clean. Squeaky clean, dude. Yep.
Mhm.
Somehow I
That's
don't believe
because
it.
Not
you
played
guys,
sport.
you're spending too much time making actual babies. You don't
Exactly.
get time to watch porn.
Exactly. Who needs porn, man? You don't need porn. Listen, young man, you don't need porn. It just ruins
Yeah.
your brain. It jumbles your brain, anyways. You don't need it.
Yep, that's true. That's true. I mean, I had one of my buddies, like we were talking about, he was having an argument with his wife and something like that, and then he was like, and I went through problems because I had a porn addiction. I was like, we all got porn addictions in here, man. We're like millennials. Like what? It's not even anything new anymore, you know.
I'm very
It's-
proud to
it's-
say that I've never had a porn addiction, and it's just not one of those things for me. I don't know. I wish more people would just step away from it. To be honest with you, you don't need it.
Yeah, no.
You don't need it. Find yourself a nice
Yeah.
wife. Make some babies.
That's the
enjoy
real
your life.
cycle that needs to get broken.
Yes.
That is, yeah, there you go.
Porn cycle.
Good in the cycle plug, man.
Right
Or break the cycle plug. Oh man, we're already going crazy. I'm on about 3 hours of sleep, and
Nice.
so this coffee and Kahlua is gonna do me some
All right,
good
Mitch,
work.
start the grilling.
Well, Tim, you were the one who wanted to get right into this. I already
Alright,
went
fine.
straight to the
Listen.
Lars Mapstead.
Listen, you guys have lost your touch. You've gone soft. Okay.
The VP, the VP position.
right,
We gotta know
What?
the VP spot. What happened? That's where you're going with
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
correct?
That's the first step.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. We could talk all day about that. And I have a
No, we're
lot.
not going to talk all day. We
I have
got
a
10
lot.
minutes.
I have a lot to say about this situation.
Okay.
And we did already do this, the mechanic grilling with Dan Smots on the System Is Down with Dave Casey as well. It's the first time I've actually really talked about it publicly. I kind of hinted at it on my show. And I put out a resignation letter as well that had some information in it, but I didn't really want to, like, here's the thing. I started with the Mises Caucus in 2017. I was their original endorsed chair candidate in 2018 and then again in 2020. And then of course I had to work against them in 2022 to become the vice chair. Now, at the time that I resigned, I wasn't aware of everything, but I was aware that I was getting membership phone calls from people saying, hey, why aren't you doing anything? We keep hearing from LNC members that you're not doing anything. And I said, tell me what LNC members are saying this. I want to know, because every week I was messaging our chair, asking her, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Give me a list. Tell me what I need to do. I didn't want to be like, everybody was worried that I was going to be this alpha asshole and try to overtake Angela. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the guy doing that. It was very, very important to me that I didn't do that. So I was like, yo, what? I called her boss. Like, tell me, what do you need from me, boss? You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready. And I wasn't getting anything. But in the meantime, I was calling people like Kara Schultz and asking them, what can I do? And I was helping input candidate info and like doing things, but I'm getting membership phone calls from people saying, hey, people are saying that you're not doing anything. And I was really, really upset about that. Come to find out now, it was kind of a ruse. Like, they were trying to do this, trying to drag me through the mud. And I found out in 2021 that the current chair now was running for chair and trying to broker a deal with Chris Lucchini, who was one of the loser brigade people on the board with me in the last term, to have me and Karen Ann Harlos removed from the board. and try to take Karen Ann Harlos's position on the board prior to the 2022 convention. Meanwhile, the Mises Caucus was doing everything they could to fundraise off of the whole situation with Karen Ann Harlos and myself and us getting censured and removed. So it was just a really dirty, terrible thing, but it didn't stop. And I was getting emails from like Miguel, who I don't have any respect for either. He was sending me messages telling me, you need to resign right now. And he was the one telling people that I wasn't doing anything. Angela was the one telling people that I wasn't doing anything. And so I wasn't going to spend 2 years on a board with people that I helped get there. First of all, I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
I've been working this movement since 2016, 2017, when we had nobody. When we had absolutely fucking nobody, right? I was traveling around the country, getting people to join the caucus, getting people to join the party. And at one point prior to 2020, I was the biggest recruiter in the entire party. I busted my ass for the party, and I wasn't going to get to the pinnacle of the thing that we were trying to do and then get dragged through the mud for 2 years. So I stepped away. And that's the God's honest truth. I wasn't going to sit there and have these people make me look bad after all the work that I had done and all the political capital I expended and have this snake turn on me and stab me in the back and ruin me publicly. So I stepped away. And I was jaded. I was pissed. I didn't want to even be in the party anymore, to be honest with you. It was like I bled and sweated for years. And this is how I'm getting repaid? Like, no. So I was really upset. Of course, I still wanted Dave Smith to run for president. I was very excited about that. It was I had at one point told Dave, like, look, man, if you run for president, I'll quit my job and be your campaign manager. Legitimately. I've been around the country. I know the libertarians. I know we can get you the nomination, and I'll help you with whatever you need. But there was a time a couple months ago where it was kind of apparent to me and probably a lot of other people that Dave probably wasn't going to run. I didn't see anybody else stepping up that was exciting. And we need somebody who's exciting in 2024. That's all I care about at this point. If you're principled and exciting and you can get people hyped and excited, then run. But nobody was doing it. Nobody was stepping up to do it. So I had already in my head a couple months ago already kind of been like, well, maybe I'll do it maybe I'll run for vice president. I don't know, And then when it became very apparent that Dave wasn't going to do it, I just kind of announced it. It was like a soft announcement. I don't know if you guys realize, but I put out like a very serious announcement. But I had already filed with the FEC. And essentially, my tagline was I guess I'll do it, which I thought was pretty good. But and now we're back to where it was in like 2019, right, or 2021, right, where like I'm up against the caucus pick. I have to go and talk to all the people that I helped bring into the party, and be like, look, this is what we need. I think that I'm what we need right now, and I have to run against my own people, and I hate that shit. I don't like this situation. But I need somebody who's going to go out and get us 5% in the general election. If you can't, if you're not exciting enough to get us to be able to promise, or at least try to guarantee that you can get 5% in the general election, I don't want you running. I just don't. And we're doing 7 million views a week right now on our social media. Like we're killing the game already.
Yeah.
But I hate it. I hate how it turned out. I hate that we had this awesome mission to bring the Ron Paul revolution alive in the Libertarian Party, and we got to this turning point where we finally took over the whole LNC, and it was more of the same shit. It was more of the same backstabbing and infighting, and people hate each other, and it's like I can't be helpful anymore. Like I can't be helpful on an administrative board with people like that anymore. I'm too jaded. I've put in too much time and too much work and time away from my family and lost jobs and places to live and all this shit for the party. And I'm not going to go up there and get treated like that. So I just stepped away, man. That was it.
All right, so so you mentioned a couple things there that I'm glad you touched on them because they were some things that I had been thinking about. When I first heard that you were announcing that you were running, I knew immediately that you were going to get pushback from people in the LP and within the Mises Caucus because you had left the VC position. And you were talking just then about how, you recruited a lot of people into the party. You inspired a lot of people to join and get active and to finally do the takeover. You helped a lot of the people that got to that position on the LNC. You were a major reason for them being elected. And then you mentioned how the Mises Caucus kind of had this split where they went with Eric, and then the core of the caucus, I felt like, really went with you. And I think a lot of us, not all of us, not this guy over there.
Yeah,
but
I'm
a
aware.
lot of us, a lot of us
I voted
went-
for him in Reno.
allegedly. It's all anonymous. We'll never know.
Yeah.
But I know the discussion that we
Donald
had,
Trump was also running.
look, Josh saw that show. Okay, you can't lie to him. He knows what I'm talking about here. Okay, so we all went to bat for you, is what I'm getting at, and we all
Right.
really wanted you to win. And then you got in, and it was a tough fight. It was a struggle to get you there. And
Yep.
then a lot of us, myself included, felt like we were kind of let down
Yeah.
when you did step down. Now I know that there was some stuff going on behind the scenes that we weren't privy to. I understand that things might not have been going on the way that you wanted it to, but how do you think it's going to be if you do take the nomination and you do become the president or the presidential nominee? I mean, there's going to be the same stuff. You're going to still have the same people who are.
No, it's gonna be totally different because
How
I
do
don't
you-
have to because I don't have to because I don't have to.
believe that.
No, listen, because
Yeah.
I don't have to sit on an administrative board with people that are trying to drag me through the mud. You know what I
Doesn't
mean?
matter.
Like,
You're going to have the.
it
You're going to have
does.
the.
It
You're
does
gonna have
though.
members of the LNC who are going to go on their personal Twitter accounts. They might not do it from the LP one, but they're going to sit there and trash talk about how they've got XYZ dirt on you, or they don't trust you, or you're just going to quit, or all this kind of stuff. You're going to have the same push.
Put it out.
Yeah,
Put-
right now.
Put the dirt out. Like that's what I keep telling people. Put the receipts out. Bring the receipts because I got receipts. I got a lot of them.
What I'm saying is-
I got screenshots of Angela conspiring with Anna Johnson and Chris Lucchini to remove me from the board prior to her even winning chair. Like I have these screenshots, man. Like
Sure.
I listen. You could say whatever you want. And listen, I've been dragged through the mud externally since 2017.
What I'm asking you is all of this stuff is going to happen again. Just because you become the libertarian nominee doesn't mean that all these people are suddenly going to rally behind you and support you. So you're still going to get the same backstabs. You're still going to get the same non-support. You're still going to get all the same things. What assurances do we have as people who may support you that you're not just going to drop out again once the kitchen gets hot?
Well,
knowing that you have a pipeline and a stronghold here in Florida, knowing that you have a pipeline and a stronghold here in Florida, like
what do you
Look,
mean?
I'm-
the whole split
just-
Florida was pretty ride or die for you.
I know. And look, dude, I've had like hundreds of phone calls after this, right, to try and explain the situation to people, and a lot of people have understood that I wasn't going to sit there and be the right hand man of somebody who was trying to stab me in the back. I'm just not going to do it. And if you think that's it's nothing like look, I was sitting on a board with administrators, right? That's what the LNC is. It's a board of administrators for the whole national party, right? Now I get to work with a campaign team that is all my supporters and friends, and those are the people that I have to work with every day. I don't have to work with these people that are stabbing me in the back after helping build their fucking movement. You know what I mean? So it's like it's completely different. It's a completely different situation in my eyes. And this is fun because I get to go out and fight people externally outside the party now too. I don't know if you know this, but there's a pretty big podcaster trying to line up a show to have me, Vivek, and RFK Jr. on, and I get to go and attack these people, and I'm excited about that, right? So it's a whole different thing for me. I don't have to sit there and work with people that I helped get on this board in the first place that are stabbing me in the back, and I want to be very clear. There's some really great people on the LNC right now. Like there's people that I respect very much. Stephen Akela, of course, right? And like a lot of these people, Karen Ann Harlos, a good friend of mine, Roby. I mean, these guys, there's some really great people on the LNC. But when it's the chair of the LNC going and talking to membership and trying to drag me through the mud as an administrator, like I can't sit there and do that. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm just not.
Yeah.
This is completely different to me. It's completely different. The whole thing is different. I get to work with people that I like. I have a great campaign team already. We already have like 40 person campaign team plus all the delegates that we've already started to accumulate. And so it's a great situation for me. It's a much better situation than sitting on a board for 2 years with people that are mad at me and have some kind of like weird vendetta against me and are trying to go out of their way to get our membership to hate me. Now, once I get the nomination in the party, there's absolutely nothing they can do to me whatsoever. Right. And that's the truth. Like before I get I have more of a worry of the primary process going into national and having to deal with these same people. That's way more worrisome than after getting the nomination and getting to go out with the vice presidential candidate and do this media tour and get our converts and get votes, and that's fun. That's all fun stuff for me. So
yeah, that's a good segue because that's what I was pushing you pretty hard there on the VC stuff because I know that's a lot.
I let you down, man. I let you down, dude. I let a lot of people down, and I've
saying that.
I've apologized extensively on my show, and I apologize now. Like, I let people down. I know that I let people down, and it sucks. And it was like, you guys know me. Like, people who watch this show, you guys, like, everybody knows me. You guys know who I am, right? And like, you have to know that I had to put a whole lot of thought into that, dude. Like, after all the work that I've done for that long, it wasn't just some like easy decision for me to step down. Like, it kept me up at night for weeks, man, for weeks, because it was like, I did all this work. I tens and thousands of dollars of my own money, plus donor money, plus, all this traveling and all these conventions and all these speaking spots and ballot access petitioning and putting together ballot access fundraisers in Alabama, and like all this stuff that I did over that time. And I had to walk away from it, and it sucked. Like, I did not want to do that. It was not something I wanted to do. It's not something I did because it was easy. It was something that I did because it was very, very, very hard to do.
Yeah.
So
no, and like I said, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, because that, like I said, I was telling Mitch before the show, I think out of all the candidates that are running right now, I think you probably have one of the more aggressive messaging things, and that's what I like. That's what I want to see in a candidate. Me personally,
that's what we all want. Yeah, that's what we all
I
want.
think that's I just didn't want to speak for anybody else, but
no.
So I think that's like good. I just know that from, like you said, I think the nomination is going to be the harder fight. Sure. I mean, we can, once we start talking about your campaign and what you're running on and what you're running for and those kinds of things, we can talk about, the realities of you winning. But I think like you said, the toughest battle is going to be the nomination and getting over that hump. So I just wanted to get that on the table.
No, and I agree.
Feelings out there.
It's like I said, I've had over 100 of these phone calls about this same situation, and I still have to make another 400. You know what I mean? Like, it's true. I know that it's a tough spot, especially vying for the Libertarian presidential nomination. But if you think about the current party and the current members of this presidential election, in the race, like the other candidates, like, where are we gonna go, dude? That's what I want. That's if somebody stepped up, if David stepped in, I would have never even thought about it. Maybe I would have thought about PP if nobody else ran. But like, who do we have? We don't have anybody that's a firecracker, and that's what we need. It's 2024, man. Like, people, Donald Trump got into the White House because he memed himself into the White House. Like, this is a whole different ball game now. Like, this populism is at the forefront of everything political these days. The culture war is the number one issue that everyone cares about across the country, whether it's Democrat or Republican. And all these people, the 51% of the population that didn't vote for a presidential candidate in the last election are just fed up with both of them. So it's like, if you're not going to go out there and be a firecracker and be explosive and meme the other team repeatedly, like, you're not going to win any votes, man. We saw that with Jo Jorgensen in 2020. She got 1.4% of the vote.
Yeah. And took a lot of L's just laying on her back too. The whole presidential debate thing where they wouldn't let them in the parking lot where they planned that campaign rally. And what was it? It wasn't even a rally. It was a protest across the street or at the venue where they were holding the debates, and they were like, "You guys don't have a permit." And
we're back at the same situation. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think Termott's a pretty good guy. Like, I like him. I think he has good plans, but I don't think he's explosive enough to get people excited. Rechtenwald, who me and him have been going back and forth today. I don't know if you've seen that. He pissed me off real bad. He came out swinging on me. But here's the thing about Rechtenwald. Even Rechtenwald, he's another Jacob Hornberger, in my opinion. Great libertarian, not a great candidate. He's just not exciting. He's not exciting. He's not an exciting candidate. He's not going to get people fired up and amped. He's going to excite the Hoppians, and that's it. And that's where we're going. And so it's like, we need somebody. I'm already way outside the echo chamber with this campaign, like way, way, way outside. I've been on Timcast. We're going on Sean Ryan. We're working on getting on PBD. I mean, we're doing all the shit that Dave said he was going to do. We're doing the same things.
And he's taking the time to get on Swampcast. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, right.
Who are we voting for right here? You know what I'm saying?
Well, just knowing that we're on the same level as PBD.
Yeah,
we're not there.
we're gonna get on Rogan, man. Like, we're doing these things, and like I said, I have that other. I'm not gonna say who it is, who the other big.
You've already named
is.
the top 3 podcasters, so who the fuck else?
Well, there was one that I was already on once.
Okay,
too.
Fine.
But there's I mean, we have some really big things lined up, man, and we have that opportunity to go out and get that 5% that we want. Maybe we get 10%. Maybe we shake the whole establishment up. Maybe we get every person that's 40 and under to vote for us. I don't know. But I can tell you that we're going to be exciting, and we're going to exhaust every single avenue of getting votes that we can possibly get into. So that's where we're at.
To anyone listening, 5% is the new benchmark, right? That's where we need to get into the debates now.
No. So here's how it works. 5% makes us a national party. A national major party, gives us national major party status. So they have to do the federal funds just like they do for the Republicans and Democrats. Mm-hmm. And what that does is every state. Okay, so you know all the states that we have to fight ballot access for? Yes. Right? They're like, well, if you're a national major political party, you only have to get 2,000 signatures. If you're a third party that's not a major national political party, you have to get 20,000 signatures, right?
So it's big for ballot access.
So it's huge for ballot access. It will basically be like automatic ballot access for us, plus federal matching funds. Mm-hmm. So I hate to say this, but as a libertarian, you probably should turn down the federal matching funds just to make a statement. But you can also take that money and use it to make sure that we have 50 state ballot access in every election. So, I mean, that's really what it does.
What would you do?
I would probably turn it down. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I would probably turn it because it would be for the 2028 election anyways. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be for me. I'd have to get 5% in the national election and in the national general, and that gives us pretty much instant ballot access. Not technically, but technically, right? It gives us federal matching funds. Also, 2028 will be included in the debates as long as we're polling high enough. But we can get into debates now, but we have to poll at 15% in the national major polls. And I've told America that if you guys do me a solid and get me polling at 15%, I will bring a freshly bought crack pipe to Joe Biden on stage in the national debate. I promise you, I will hand it to him on national television and then send him off the stage with an ice cream cone. I promise you, I will do that.
Okay, but you have to get what's his face? Damn it, I can't remember. You got to get Hunter engraved on the side of it.
That'd be pretty nice too. Yeah. We can do that.
Someone with a machine in this party.
I know people that blow glass, man. I'm sure we could get it figured out.
Yeah.
But if he denies it, then you have to bring it to the Florida convention where we will auction it off for fundraising for the state.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all heard it here first.
I've only missed like two. I think two or maybe three, but probably two. Since 2017, I've only missed two LPF state conventions.
Yeah, you've been down here. You've been since I've been coming. I think I've seen you at like all of them.
My favorite state to visit every time. Man. I love Florida.
Oh, we know.
That's what he says on this podcast. The nest, we'll be here he goes on another one and says something different.
No. I mean it. Everybody knows Florida's my stuff.
Then he goes to New Hampshire and he's like, "This is my favorite state."
No, I love New Hampshire. I love what New Hampshire's doing. Listen, I love what the Free State Project is doing in New Hampshire. I do. I don't know. I don't know that I'd be super happy living in New Hampshire. I like Iowa, and Iowa's got close to the same laws as New Hampshire. So, but I love the beach. I'm a beach guy, man. I'm a big fan of the ocean.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm the palest person on this podcast. I hate the beach.
Oh man, I could sit at the beach. I could sit at the beach for the rest of my life. I'd be happy, man. But I grew up in California, so
we could do a convention in Pensacola next time.
I did. My first convention that I went to in Florida was at Fort Walton Beach on the beach.
That's close enough.
Yeah, and we were out. There was like a little tiki hut bar on the sand, right next to the water, and we were having drinks out there. And then we went swimming in the ocean at like midnight, 11 o'clock, midnight or something. It was wild. I had a good time there.
Yeah.
Well, let's get hype. Mitch, do you have his campaign commercial? I definitely want to bring that up and react.
Which one? We got two of them.
You got two of them? The newest one.
I have what appears to be the most recent one that
That's
I've
seen. The one about the COVID regime.
He's got to watch it first.
Joshua Smith for president.
I think that's the first one. First one. Yeah.
While he's scanning it, I just want to say, audit check. I'm halfway through my second drink, wherever the fuck you guys are. While this video's playing, pound it down, and let's get hype, like Ralph said.
I'm doing this as best as I can, man.
You're bad at producing shows.
Tim's always hyped, man.
He is.
Yeah, this is the first one.
We'll screen that thing. Yeah, let's go.
This is the first one. This is a good one. I like it. America, land of the free and home of the brave. What does that mean to you? What do you think about when you hear it? Is it a 250-year-old hard-fought revolution for freedom and independence? Do you think of the founding fathers penning words that would forevermore see a nation and its people free of tyranny? Is it 4th of July barbecues and time with your family? Is it your right to peacefully speak your mind without fear of violent repercussion? Is it perhaps a republic of the represented, led by public servants who listen to the will of its people? Or is it whatever this bullshit is? We're in a downward spiral of insanity. Forever wars, inflation, constant attacks on our natural rights by the very people that campaign on protecting them, and petty tyrants around every corner looking to use the crushing weight of the federal government to strip you of your personhood for wrongthink. Enough already. My name's Joshua Smith, and I'm running for president of the United States of America. I'm running on a radical platform to end the wars, end the Fed, and restore some sanity to this once great nation. We are fed up with lifelong politicians who legislate policy that hurts Americans in their pocket, in their livelihood, and in their property. We need a drastic overhaul of the status quo. I am under no illusion that the powers that be will allow me into the White House. We may not win, but together, we can send a message to Washington that most of us are fed up with the constant barrage of filth they shove down our throats in D.C. We can challenge lifelong politicians for their long-held positions of power. We can make the powerful elite change their position on policy. We can be loud enough to disrupt the corporate news media and their agenda to weaken America. Together with the 61% of the population who was so fed up they didn't even cast a vote for president in 2016. We can make the changes that give us the power back. Let's take our frustrations to the ballot box in 2024 and send a message that we're ready to opt out of the status quo. Enough already. My name's Joshua Smith, and I'm running for president. I'm ready to fight back. Are you?
Okay, so first question I just need to ask. Was that Dan Smots?
Of course.
Of course.
Oh, I knew it too. I was gonna ask that too.
Both of my big campaign videos are Dan Smots. For
Very
sure.
high quality. Very high quality.
Yeah,
video.
I wouldn't go to anybody else, man.
He's got like he's got a style to him.
Yeah, and it's my style. It's
Yeah,
so
it's naked old men dancing with rainbows covering their penis. That's his.
No, that's your style, Tim. My style.
Boom.
So here's the thing. Me and Dan have a very similar brain when it comes to this kind of stuff. And so it's so easy to work with Dan because I just like sit in front of my mic and record a monologue and then I just send it over to him and he's like, yeah, I got you. And it was like that. It's like that quick. He gets excited because we're so closely aligned when it comes to this stuff.
I haven't seen this video yet. I saw the other one.
This is the one that we just put out last week, I think.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this one either.
This
pretty good.
I have, and good job, Dan, and I will say good job, Josh.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, it's all high quality stuff.
Shit,
Looks
what did
awesome.
I just press.
Just wait till I start putting out
take another
TV
drink
ads
because
when we're in the
Mitch
general,
sucks.
buddy.
There you go.
Take a moment and remember the feeling. When they called you not essential. When they dictated what you could do,
That's
where
scary.
you could go, how you could breathe. It's disgusting, isn't it? And they're trying to do it again. We've seen what happens when the people lose control. When politicians and unelected bureaucrats make the big decisions on our behalf, whether we like them or not. When the choices are taken away from us one by one. We've seen what happens when they strip away medical freedom. When they trample on informed consent. When they dismiss our cries of justice. They laughed at us. They called us names.
Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Them, their freedom. I want my freedom to live.
Hey,
And they shamed us for not going along with their every demand. Enough already. It's time to hold these tyrants accountable. In the midst of them trying to do it again, this wasn't a public health measure. This was an act of war against a peaceful people. But a reckoning is coming, and we're leading the charge. This campaign is for all of us. I'm asking you to join this movement that's for every single person who felt the crushing weight of mandates, the sting of being called unessential, the pain of having your liberties stripped away. I'm Joshua Smith, and I'm running because you are essential, and because our freedoms are non-negotiable. Not last time, not this time, not ever again.
I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good.
We faced the challenges. We felt the pain, but we're not defeated. Together, we have the power to create a brighter future. one where liberty thrives and tyranny dies. I endorse prosecuting the COVID tyrants and using Guantanamo Bay to lock them away for their crimes against humanity. In the face of all of this happening again, where they think we're stupid enough to fall for it, in 2024, a vote for me is a vote for vengeance. Go to joshuasmith2024.com to find out how you can help.
That was
That's pretty
excellent. I do want to ask you. I saw some clips in there. You were at the Iowa State Fair.
Yes. Yep.
You know, with all the other presidential candidates. How'd that go for you? You know,
Really good. We
talked
did really
to a lot
well.
of people. Did you get in a rap battle with Vivek Ramaswamy?
No, he was there. He was there like the day before or 2 days before I was there. No, it went really well. In fact, I was able to get, I don't know, the 4 hours that I did at their booth. We got about 6 new signups for the party, and then I had people actually walk away from the table and donate to my campaign, which was really cool. And then we went and did like an hour of footage around the fair for the campaign. But we were talking to people and handing out business cards. So we were handing out business cards that have the QR code for our website on it, and it went really well, man. People are super receptive right now. To different, like a change. I mean, there's people, you know, the people that have jumped off the Trump train that are looking towards DeSantis and Vivek, but we know they're not going to get in the general. You know what I mean? Like, I know they're not going to get in the general.
Yeah.
And then there's a ton of people that are just done with Biden and looking at the current, like, you know, front runners behind Biden, people like Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg and all these people going, no way. So it's like a really interesting opportunity for us to set ourselves apart and be different, like we have always supposed to have been, and get those people on board. And I had a lot of people, like people you wouldn't think, saying, "Yeah, man, I'd love to vote for you." You know, at the Iowa State Fair in Middle America. So
Nice.
So what do you think? So we've had candidates in the past that I think have focused too much on what other libertarians think and trying to get their vote, and it's such a small minority. So like going for a presidential race or any race really, what do you like? What's your strategy for reaching non-libertarians?
sure,
If you go and you talk to them about epistemology or even like Austrian economics, they're just gonna blank out. So
yeah, I'm not going to go out there. I'm not going to go out there and beat people over the head with Murray Rothbard philosophy, man. That's a terrible idea. And that's, I mean, and we haven't had an actual presidential candidate that has done that since Michael Badnarik in 2004.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to be very clear that every candidate since Michael Badnarik has been a very soft version of one of the two old parties. That's it. And that's probably our biggest problem is like, people want change. Hope and change bring people a ballot box, right? But you have to be bold and brave and radical and be different than these two other parties. If you go out there sounding like oh yeah, he was there with me. Yeah, AJ was there with me. If you go out there, and by the way, AJ, if you're watching, we're still doing a show tonight at 7:30, buddy. So get your ass over to the house. You know, if you go out there and you're just kind of giving this like soft version, this soft version of libertarianism in a way that's like, oh, well, we just kind of want to chip away at the system. Like people are like, I could just go vote for the Republicans or Democrats. Or there's people that are like, oh, that's not a brave, bold enough like campaign for me to vote for, so I'm just not voting. So like we have to give them that step away, that departure from the uniparty entirely. And the only way to do that is to be absolutely 100% radical and non-compromising in our beliefs. And I know that there's a lot of the old prags in the party that'll be like, no, you have to talk to people where they're at. Well, the problem is that most people in this country right now are at a place where they're fed up with the inflation and the forever wars and the cost of gas and the COVID tyranny and regime coming back and medical freedom. And like, you have all these issues that are, you could call it a populist message, but people are really like upset and terrified and mad and just all these emotions about these things. And we have candidates that are talking about doing it all over again. Yeah. And so it's like, you have to set apart yourself from those other parties and the other libertarian candidates, in my opinion. I've completely stepped away from them as well. And the only way to do that, the only way to get that 5% or 7% or 10%, we're shooting for 10, we want 10, is to be radical and brave and bold and message that way and be exciting and get people excited. Like we have to reignite the Ron Paul revolution, and you're not going to do that by giving a lecture. It's just not going to work. So,
And I think the right path is to do what you're doing and hit the podcast circuits. I mean, that's what RFK is doing. That's what Vivek's doing, and it's working for them in their polls. So
I said that on Timcast. I said, look, when you have people that are vying for the executive office of the United States, looking for the podcasters as opposed to the corporate mainstream legacy news media, that's when you know the corporate news media is dying, right? Because I'd much rather go on Tim Pool, Sean Ryan, PBD, and Joe Rogan than go and sit on CNN for a 20-minute or 10-minute spiel, right? Absolutely, 100%.
And then just bash you the whole time. Be like,
Yeah.
so you're not going to win this, are you? But whatever.
These candidates want long form Tucker Carlson style interviews right now, man. And if you're not going to get those, like go home. If you're not going to do long form interviews and be brave and bold, like go home. Just don't do it, please.
Sure. So you mentioned the not sounding like the other candidates because they would just end up voting for the other candidate because they thought they were more viable or whatever. So you also mentioned your that last campaign video that we watched was a vote for vengeance or whatever. I think that's where a lot of Trump supporters, like the people that still support Trump, I think that's where they're at right now too.
Yeah.
Is they want to vote for vengeance. And, Vivek's been mentioned a couple times here as well. And his campaign seems to be about like shut down the FBI, shut down the CIA, all this kind of stuff, which are all things that I think a lot of libertarians agree with. Like they want to see the deep state destroyed. They want to see these big institutions destroyed. So I don't know that really differentiates a libertarian so much today as it would have, 4 years ago.
Yeah. None of them are talking about putting the COVID regime in jail, though. I can promise you that.
What was that? Sorry.
None of them are talking about putting the COVID regime in jail, right?
Yeah,
they're not talking about. None of them are talking about actually doing an investigation into the safer task force and Fauci and Pfizer and all of these crazy like COVID regimists. None of them are talking about an actual investigation in this situation. Yeah. I'm the only one. I'm also not talking about bombing Mexico for fentanyl like Vivek. But I will say
that was wild, right?
Yeah. And here's the other thing too. Like I'm completely anti foreign welfare parasite entirely. Like no more sending money to other countries around the world unless they've established a diplomatic trade relationship with us where we're actually benefiting Americans. And I've talked about this. Vivek says that he's all about getting rid of the globalists and all this stuff, right? But then he sat there in the debate with Nikki Haley for 10 minutes arguing over which one of them was going to serve Israel better. Like, don't tell me you're a libertarian when you're talking about bombing Mexico and who's going to serve Israel better, right? Because it's definitely not very libertarian of you. And I have right there on my platform. It literally says foreign welfare parasites. Like, we're going to get rid of that entirely. When 12% of the population of the United States is having a problem putting food on their table, we're not going to send $50 billion to 200 countries around the world every year. Sorry, it's over. It's done. He's also, he talked about, well, we need to get away from this warfare state thing, right? But what basis has he talked about shutting down other than saying that he wouldn't send money to Ukraine, which, by the way, he's switched on now. Now he's okay with sending money to Ukraine. Which wars has he talked about stopping or bringing troops home from? None of them. Right? None of the Republican Party people are talking about actually ending any wars. None of them are talking about actually ending foreign welfare. None of them are talking about it. Well, I guess Vivek is talking about ending the Department of Education, but how far does he want to go? He doesn't explain it after that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, my platform is much more radical than any of the Republicans, and I mean it. I actually mean it, and that's the thing too, right? Like, how many Republicans have pissed in our leg and told us it was raining in the past, right? How many of these people have said that they were going to do this and do that and do this and do that, and then they get into office, they don't do it? I actually want to bulldoze the ATF building and see dogs playing on its ashes, right? Like, I actually want to do those things.
You want to build a dog park on the ATF building?
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yes. A dog memorial park on the headquarters of the ATF building after we bulldoze it, and for all the fallen dogs. And then the rest of the equipment from the ATF and other federal agencies that we are able to get rid of right away, we're gonna auction off, and we're gonna pay reparations to everybody who's had to buy an unconstitutional NFA tax stamp in America. So that's the only reparations I support.
You lost the black vote. No, I'm messing with you.
I'm sure some black people have had to buy. I'm sure that some black people have had to unconstitutionally buy NFA tax stamps for sure. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not the only stamps they buy. But anyway, I'm just messing with you. All right. I had one question, but I wanted to not derail the whole conversation. If Mitch or Tim had something more along the lines of like the campaign stuff like that.
No, I'm tearing through his website right now. Keep going.
I just have one question based on what we talked about with Jorgensen.
Sure.
You're not going to choose Alan Dershowitz for the Supreme Court.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I haven't actually put any thought into who I would choose as a Supreme Court justice right away, but I know that Judge Knapp is probably up there in the top of the list somewhere. But I could think of probably 100 lawyers that I would pick before I even thought about looking at another 100 lawyers, before I even thought about looking at another 100 lawyers before Dershowitz. So, yeah. Absolutely. I'm also not gonna stop halfway through the campaign and endorse Hillary Clinton. I'm not ever going to endorse the Federal Reserve. I'm not ever going to endorse a single gun law, not one. In fact, we're going to repeal the NFA. We're going to walk back the school gun ban of 1993. We're going to abolish the ATF as much as we possibly can as a president. We're going to institute a constitutional carry reciprocity nationally. We're gonna get rid of the NICS. Yeah, a lot of things, man. So that's the one thing with me. I'm not gonna capitulate on any of this stuff, like at all. And I had this conversation. With Moms Demand Action lady who's like, well, what about all the mass shooters? What about the mass shooters? What are you going to do about the mass shooters? I said, well, here's the truth of the matter. I have this in my platform already. I want to get rid of Title 4D from the Social Security Act, which gives states $3. I think it's actually $1 for every 66 cents, but I always say they give them $3 for every $2 they spend on child support programs and enforcement. So it actually incentivizes states to separate families. Instead of trying to have them work through it for the children. And so I come with stats. That's how I roll, right? 91% of mass shooters are from fatherless homes. Okay. So Moms Demand Action, all these single moms.
Where are you pulling that? That's a huge number.
Yeah. Go look up the Fed. Hey, look, 81% of incarcerated violent offenders, fatherless homes. 74. I'm ballparking, but I know that I'm in the same, within 5%. 74% of homeless and runaway youth are from fatherless homes. These stats are so high, they're undeniable. Undeniable.
According to your website, it's 90% of homeless are runaway youth from fatherless homes.
I might have mixed. The stats. Wow. I should have read them.
Unforgivable.
The ones that are on my website are pulled directly from like the national statistics. So I think I mixed up the violent offender and homeless youth. So yeah, but here's another stat that you're not aware of either. I'm not going to put a percentage in there, but it's more than half of mass shooters have passed by their initial target because it wasn't a gun-free zone to hit a gun-free zone. So Moms Demand Action, probably some inordinate amount of them are single mothers, are doing more bad towards mass shootings than I ever will. And so if we don't want to address the root of these issues, which is that we've destroyed the family life of children in America, then we're never going to fix these issues. Because even if you ban every gun in America, there's still going to be stabbings. More people die with hammers, you know what I mean? And blunt objects than guns every year. Okay. So you're not going to end that violence. It's not going to end. And the only way that we get rid of it and actually scale it back is to address the root cause of those things. And the biggest root cause of those things has been the direct attack on the American nuclear family. There's no doubt about it.
And then maybe even you could throw. I mean, obviously, you probably know mental health issues with SSRIs, antidepressants, and whatnot.
Yep. Well, and we've talked quite a bit about. I even put it in my platform as well. This whole new trendy version of mental health care for youths, where it's like, we're no longer trying to help them come back to reality from their mental health issues. We're trying to actually affirm their outside of reality and help them come to terms living outside of reality. That's never how mental health care has worked in America, and it's doing more harm than it is good. There's no doubt about it.
Are you talking about the transes?
I mean, that's a big part of it. Yeah, absolutely. but with kids in general, you know what I mean? I think, look, if you're an adult and you want to skin graft a penis to your forehead, I don't care. You're an adult. Just wear underwear on your head when you're around kids, please. But 18 and under, you can't consent to, you can't go to war, you can't drink, you can't consent to sex, you can't do any of these things, right? But we can let you do mutilation and take medications that are going to change you forever. Like, no, that's not okay. And it's got to stop. Like, mental health is on a spectrum, right? From generalized depression all the way up to full-blown psychosis, and every single one of those mental issues is like you living outside of reality. And a mental health care professional's job is to help you come back to reality and live inside of reality. That's what therapy's for. That's what the meds are supposed to do. That's what these things are supposed to be for. And somewhere down the line, we've decided that we are going to now help people come to terms living outside of the reality of their lives. And that's not okay. That's not how mental health care works. And it's doing way more harm than it is good. And if you look at the suicide rates in trans teens and young adults, it hasn't changed it at all. Gender affirming care has not changed that at all. It has done nothing to address the very high suicide rate in that community. So people want to get mad at me, but really it's your fault. It's your fault that they're killing themselves because you're trying to push them to stay living outside of the actual reality of their life. And that's your fault. It's not my fault. I want them to get the help that they need as kids.
So I want to give you some friendly pushback, some challenge some of that a little bit, because you've mentioned twice now you've triggered my autism. The first one was with the gun laws, with making it reciprocity across all the states,
sure.
And now it was again with the trans kids and things like that. So a lot of libertarians would argue that you can't impose gun laws on a nationwide perspective. If some community or some state wants to restrict gun laws in some way, you from a national level as the president shouldn't be able to impose those laws on somebody else. That's one. Then I'll let you get both of them because I think I know what you're going to say, but this is friendly pushback. The second one is with the trans kids. Obviously, you know where I'm going to go with that. Like you were saying, like adults should be able to free to do whatever they want, but then there's also the other side of that argument where parents should be able to raise their kids however they want and whatever they want to do with those kids. So if they want to give them hormone replacement therapy, if they think surgery is the best idea for that, so from a libertarian perspective, like those won't jive with a good section of the party. So what do you say to that?
Well, first of all, we have to remember what reality is. And the reality is that we live in a statist society with statist overlords that are hurting our lives every single day.
So if you can't beat them, join them?
No. None of these things that I would like to impose are anything but freedoms and protections, right? So like, Here's the thing with the national reciprocity / constitutional carry. If the federal government should exist, they have been outlined. Their boundaries have been outlined by the Constitution.
Sure.
And the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution 100% gives every man and woman the right to carry a firearm. Okay. And if a state imposes on those rights, the federal government is actually there to make sure that that's the only thing the federal government should do at all is protect the rights of its citizens. Okay. And that is a state imposing its will on the rights of individuals. So as a federal government officer, it is actually my job to make sure that the states are not taking away the liberties of the individual.
You're just invoking the supremacy clause
that are outlined by the Constitution. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing else that we aren't able to do. Okay. I'm sure there's plenty of things that I would say, okay, that, the president has no say in that over a state. But when
you're not talking about granting special privileges or whatever. You're talking about protecting rights. So
I'm talking about protecting rights. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the easy one.
Yes,
now go
correct.
to the parental rights.
Okay. So federal law states that you can't traffic children. You can't harm children. You can't. I mean, this is basic protection of child's rights. Okay. In the view of a lot of people, including tons of scientists and doctors, these treatments for kids that are under 18 and under 16 and under 14 in some instances are child abuse. Okay. We cannot put our stamp as a country on child abuse and just say, oh, well, that's the parent's right to do that. In any society of any variety, whether it's a Hoppian covenant community or a federal government, a federalist system, or a balkanized country that is 50 independent states, we can't allow children to be harmed, and that's harming children. And really, destroying the mental health care system in America worse than it already was. Now, again, I'm going to go back to this. If the federal government should exist, it should exist to protect the rights of and that includes children. Okay. And it's kind of a gray area when we're talking about, well, what are the children's rights, right? Yeah. I don't think that I do believe that children cannot consent to a lot of things. Okay. And I'm not one of these people that's like going out there like, we got to get rid of the age of consent thing. No, I think pedophiles should be put in wood chippers' feet first, slowly. Yeah. And I mean that. And in any community, without the federal government, that would probably be happening. That's the other thing too, right? It's like we have pedophiles that get 1.5 years in prison or like a year on probation, and libertarians are the ones who always get well, you guys want to end the age of consent. No, we want to get the government out of the way so we can punish, child sex offenders.
We want to bring back dueling, motherfucker.
Yeah, we'd actually like to get the government out of the way so that we can make sure they actually get the punishments they deserve, because right now they don't.
You're like, you don't want to know what we want to do.
but here's the thing, if you're not old enough to go to war at 18, you're not old enough to drink, you're not old enough to have a cigarette, you're not old enough to do, gamble or vote or do any of these things, then you're definitely not old enough to go to a doctor and say, please start chopping off appendages. Okay. I'm sorry. If it's not a medical necessity, then it's child abuse by the doctor, by the psychiatrist that push them towards these things, and maybe in some cases by the parents too. I don't want the parents punished. What I want to do as executive branch of America is impose on the doctors and the psychiatrists that have stepped out of their bounds, away from their oath, the oath they take to, do no harm.
Right.
And I want them to know that going forward, they can be charged under federal law the same as child sex trafficking, because child sex trafficking is a federal crime. And I think that chopping, boobs and penises off and doing all these things that they are to children is disgusting. It's like Mangles style thing, right? Like, and we have to make sure that the kids are safe and protected. And, they may have crazy parents that are pushing towards that, but the doctor that would say that's okay and do these things should not be practicing medicine anymore.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, like I said, it was friendly pushback. I had an idea of what you were going to say, and I tend to agree with a lot of that, but I just wanted to see what
you're going to get on that particular topic. You're going to get tons of pushback from the left. You already know it. You already know it. So
I will not capitulate on this at all.
Good. So we're coming up on an hour. So Mitch, you haven't said anything in a while. What's up?
We have Josh, another thing we like to do on the show is kind of react to some funny stuff.
Okay.
And one
this
thing
is
that
real funny.
Oh no, I have 2 clips because this has happened twice now.
Yeah.
And Josh, as you're aware, we even though we have our strife within the Libertarian Party, I like to think that we can all at least have fun together and enjoy good moments where we control the regime. And well, we recently what's the word that I'm looking for, Rob? You're the lawyer.
You're setting this up.
With Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden.
Oh yeah.
Conservatorship.
I think he's just shutting down, man. I wanted to say that we need younger politicians, and that's another reason why I like you as a candidate. You fit into the millennial vote, and get all these old guys out of.
He's too old for that. He's a fucking. Well, how old are you, Josh? You're
I'm the very, very, very by a couple of months made millennial. I was born in 1983, so
1983.
Yeah, March of 83.
When was Mitch McConnell born?
Oh, dude, he's like 81. I think he's 81. He's definitely 41 years older than me. I'm sure of that.
He just paused for a moment. This is the second one. This is the newest one, right?
No, this is the first one.
This is the first one. And everyone's trying to figure out what's going on with him.
Yeah, this was the first one.
I gotta say, I didn't expect it to be him. I always expected this to happen with Biden.
Well, it does.
It does. Frequently,
it's like every other day.
Remember the Easter Bunny when the Easter Bunny was like, "Come on, this is totally not a operative trying to show him where to go." It was just the Easter Bunny. It's like, "Come on this way, hibbity hoppity over here."
Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your Do you want to say anything else to the press?
God damn.
Jesus.
Nope. I think
elder abuse.
I think I shit my pants and I'm gonna go home.
I mean, to be fair, I would love to have an entire Congress that's like this.
That's elder abuse at this point. I mean, it's getting like that between Fetterman and him, man. I mean, you know,
I'm saying.
Dianne Feinstein, right?
This is the second one. Yeah, Feinstein as well is really bad.
That's
bad.
God awful.
Yeah.
She has a power of attorney. Like one of her kids is her power of attorney.
I would like to say I've been following the government for a very long time, and I've never seen this many people in the government start to act like that. And I think it coincides with when Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. So I'm pretty sure that their adrenochrome supply has run out, and we're gonna start losing lizard people left and right. I really think that's what's going on.
That motherfucker isn't real.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going on at this point.
All right, that's good take.
What are your thoughts on it? I'm sorry, I had a hard time hearing you. That's okay. What are your thoughts on running?
Yeah, you got to turn it up, dude.
What are my thoughts?
It's up as high as it goes.
Running for re-election.
Yeah, let me try.
Not you.
Not you, buddy.
Fucking old man. Talking about his hearing aid. Said he couldn't hear him.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Yes, but
Huh?
not able to answer right now.
Bro, look at that stare. The Grim Reaper is in the crowd. Look,
he's like white knuckling the podium too. If there's another angle where you see him from the side, his knuckles are white. He's holding onto that podium so tight because I think he's about to go out.
Yeah, he's having a stroke. Maybe
that's basically like so. Yeah. I mean, he's bad. He's really bad.
Dude,
Look, they can't even get him to let go of the podium. Look.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he reminds me of that guy from the Hannibal movies. The guy that's the bottom of his face. That's exactly what he looks like.
That was Gary Oldman, by the way.
Yeah.
In that movie, right?
I think I'm going to go with what you say. Yeah, that's right.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Yeah, he's. I mean,
too old,
Get
bitch.
him out of there. What are they doing?
It's elder
Get him
abuse at this
out.
point, for sure. It's elder abuse.
Okay, so this brings up a good question, and it's a debate we've had with other people. Where do you guys stand on term limits?
Oh man, I go back and forth. I don't really have a stance on term limits, so I it's hard for me because, of course, I want term limits imposed on these horrendous characters that we have in Congress and Senate, right? Like, of course, I want them to get the hell out of there. But I think back to like, what if Ron Paul had been on term limits? What if Rand Paul had been on term limits? What if Thomas Massey had term limits? What, it would be really bad because there'd be no one like pushing back on this stuff. But at the same time, maybe it's the better idea, right? Like maybe it's the better choice. But also, like, if we ever get a good enough like house, they're gonna leave and then we're gonna be stuck with fighting all this shit over again. So I don't know, man. It's a hard situation for me.
I've always thought term limits is a better idea because then you won't create the career politician. Like we have the bad people because they are career politicians, and term limits eliminates that, and it would allow for people who don't really care to be career politicians.
Yeah, maybe that's the better and maybe that is the better thing. I mean, but it doesn't work with president, right?
Yeah.
So
that is
Mitch,
true.
your opinion?
Doesn't matter who you vote for, you always end up with John McCain, right?
No, I'm actually 100% on the same side as Josh here. This is one that I don't really know where the fuck I stand because, Ron Paul, everyone loves Ron Paul, but then you think like, shit.
Here, I'm going to make it easy for you.
Yeah.
I'll make it easy for both of you then. The people get the government they vote for, right? So
yes.
if the people choose that they want to have a Ron Paul for 20, 30 years, then let them have Ron Paul for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
If they choose they want to have Joe Biden, then they get what they deserve.
And that's what I said. That's what I said on Timcast too. I said I hope that the people get every single thing they vote for, like legitimately, because at some point, man, people are gonna be so fed up with this shit that they're gonna have to change their entire way of thinking. I think it's gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
I know. I feel
Argentina seems to show that it's possible.
I feel it coming, man. It's the winds of change are out there, and the more I travel now, like obviously I was just in West Virginia, Maryland. I'll be in Colorado next week. I got, of course, Florida, New Jersey on the 3rd. The more I travel, like over the last 6 years, the more I meet people that are just done. I have my normie friends now. Like I just saw a friend of mine from high school that I haven't talked to since high school posting about my presidential candidacy on her like own personal page. And I'm going, this person's like not at all a libertarian, never has been. Nice. And she's like, my friend from high school is running for president, and his ideas really intriguing, like, or something like that, but people are ready. There's a whole change ready, like happening out there. And if we don't capitalize on that this year, Like it may be another 10 years of, well, this is the most important election of our lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we got to capitalize on it now. And if we're not going to have somebody that's brave enough and bold enough and exciting enough to go out there and do it, just like I said in the beginning of the show, don't run. Please don't run. Please
There
don't.
you
This isn't
All
a grift for me. I don't make any money off this at all. $0 off of this.
So we've gone over an hour. You got a show that you got to make in another
Yes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. But I just want to say these two are empty. This one's about to be empty. I don't know where you guys are at, but we're going to do a tradition, something that
Far
probably hasn't been done here in a long time. But Josh is here, so I'm going to ask him the question. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh,
yes.
he said
Well,
yes.
Absolutely.
What?
100%.
Okay, whatever.
What?
We're
Yes.
just
You know, any
Fun
good opinions
things
you had
between
tonight are
bread
now invalid.
sandwiches.
It is.
No,
It's
thanks
hey,
for
dude.
putting that
It's a
up.
piece of meat between two pieces of bread. It's a sandwich.
This is
That's
such
what I
a
tell my wife
this is
every
such a-
night. Keep going.
Hey,
I don't want to get
quesadilla.
like Jordan Peterson,
Was
but
it
this is such
quesadilla?
a
Listen to me.
modernist
Listen
position.
to Mitch. Listen to me. Are you a member of my channel, my YouTube channel or anything? Are you a
I
paying
remember your channel.
like
yes.
$4 a month or whatever?
No.
Go watch the After Hours episode with Tom Woods. Okay.
Oh,
He actually breaks it down why a hot dog is a sandwich
Oh, shit.
in the after hours of my show.
Yeah.
oh, dang
Here's
it.
the thing, man. There's only one perfect guy there ever was, and they nailed him to a cross, and all my heroes have let me down.
Oh.
And you just made Tom Woods let me down.
All right, man. I'm sorry. It was a very good explanation, and he actually says the F word in there. It's the only time I've heard him
Whoa.
say the F word.
Yeah,
So.
okay. Any other plugs, Josh, before we get going?
Check out the show, Joshua Smith, Break Cycle Joshua Smith. Of course, that's at youtube.com/Fight the Despots. And of course, please go and check out the website for the campaign. It's joshuasmith2024.com. And check out toplobster.com too, the homie. He's got all the great Break the Cycle gear. Of course, we have campaign gear on our website now too. So if you want to support the campaign by buying merch, we got some pretty good stuff up there, including the Get In Loser. We're voting for Joshua Smith.
Yeah.
The regular Joshua Smith 2024 shirt. That's a pretty cool knock on the Dark Biden meme. And then some other good stuff up there too. Of course, the Vote for Vengeance hoodie, which is a favorite of everybody. And I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Censure
Thank you,
These
guys.
Nuts will always be the best shirt you ever made.
That was all Top Lobster for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, that was a gangster shirt. We should bring something like that back for the campaign. I think that'd be good.
Elect these nuts.
Yeah, or something like that. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me on. I'm gonna go get set up for my show, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you
do
for your
thing,
time.
man.
Thanks for coming on.
All right. And since we're still here, we might as well get our plugs out of the way. Rob, you got anything?
Yeah, Florida Freedom Fest coming up, man. We got some comedians doing a show. I'm bringing Lamar DeFore and Zach Van Gaskell down from Pensacola, and we got headliner Kyle Ruff coming all the way from Colorado, another libertarian comedian. Come there, second annual Florida Freedom Fest, first comedy show we're doing there, so hopefully it'll be fun.
Hell yeah. Tim, do you have anything to plug at all? I mean,
1776swag.com.
hell yeah, brother.
Got
Hell
him.
yeah. I got tons of Dave Smith merch. And
Yeah.
Funny story. So if you go and you spend $100 on 1776 swag right now, you will get a free shirt from the grab bag.
Nice.
I will do a semi-serious plug. LPFcon.org, whenever that comes up. We're going to have a presidential debate there, and that's going to be pretty good. Josh will be there. Mike Tremont, all the major candidates will be there. And so we'll get to see that debate. I probably won't be in my proper role, so I'll be able to hang out and just chill with everybody, but I do plan on going. So
That's January 19th through the 21st, Florida Convention. And then Florida Freedom Fest is the 28th through the 30th.
October 28th, yep.
September 28th through the 30th, and then
September,
October 21st is the Jacksonville presidential forum that I'll be hosting over there at Duval. So if you're in Florida and you're a libertarian, come out to these events. Hang out with us. It'll be a fun time. I don't know if Mitch is making out to it, but I'll be there. I'll be at both of those and at the convention as well. So
I'll
thanks for
make it to
joining.
one of them because I have to live up to my promise of the Dave Smith bet.
Nice. Well, hit that like.
Oh,
and
yeah, where's
subscribe.
the fucking Pocky chip?
He's
So
gonna
here's
eat
the
it.
thing.
He's gonna
It's
eat it. He's
outlawed
gonna
by
eat
the
it.
government now, but here's the good news.
Bullshit.
I know a great store in Melbourne that has some extremely fucking spicy sauces.
Dude, I'm about to buy one on fucking eBay that's sitting on somebody's shelf for the last year, and you're gonna eat that one.
I swear to God though, if
What's
we
it
want to
gonna
get
be,
ghost
homemade?
pepper sauces, this place has them. You have to sign a waiver.
My wife grows Carolina Reapers, so if you don't eat a Pocky chip, I'm just gonna give you some of those.
We're gonna cut your nipples and rub the Carolina Reapers on them. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh Jesus, that is just. Rob, where did that
Sick,
come
you're
from?
sick.
Where did that come from?
Why would you do that? You're
He's
sick.
from Mexico, didn't you hear him?
I did try that I remember trying the Mexican kid. It was like
yeah,
a kid
yeah.
shocker.
Listen,
Damn.
it's a battery tied to metal. Okay, that's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you broke it down pretty simple there, but like it was really intense once you got the 9, and then
Yeah.
you clicked it to the 10, and everything just stopped. And I was like,
that was your heart.
I don't like I didn't feel anything, and then out of nowhere it was just like boom, just like a jolt. I'm like, let it go, let it go.
First you're like, oh, this isn't so bad, and then it fucking just hits you.
Yeah. While you're turning it up, you feel like Christian Purley. You're like, I can't let it go. Oh,
You
you're
can't
watching.
fucking undo.
Yep, couldn't
Mexican
let go.
shock toy.
I got a bachelor party to get to.
No problem. And you know what? Just to tease for the next episode, because I want to build up the chip at this point. We're building up. This is an event, bro. For now on, the chip is a tradition. Anytime someone
Are
loses
you
a
gonna eat
bet
the
on
whole
this
chip, or are you
show,
gonna bitch
Chip.
out and only eat a little bit?
dude, Dave Smith fucking threw me under the bus when I went to him trying to get out of this.
Yeah, you shouldn't
Listen,
have done
I'll
that.
tell you that me and Mara ate half of a chip each, and that was not very good. So you're gonna die.
Oh man.
I told you.
Anyway,
I told you he's
everyone-
probably not running. I was like, he's doing good at comedy. Why would you want to do that right now?
Hey, wrap this shit up. Let's get out of here.
Yep.
Everyone, thanks for coming out. Next week we will be we got a good little interview with a Texan. So everyone tune in.
You
Like
just
and
said
subscribe.
Texan, that's it. Is it Buck Johnson? Who is it?
We all find out. They'll
Like
know.
and subscribe, and in the next couple weeks, you'll be seeing it on this podcast on RSS feeds on podcatchers as well, not just YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Moving on up. Anyway, everyone,